Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another session of Readings in Isolation. My name is Saman Giraud, and I'm your host tonight. Let's see where Joanna stopped. I see. So we are on the 6th night of Shahrazad telling stories to King Shahryar in order to save her life. Currently, we are at sea. A fisherman caught in his net a mysterious jar, and after opening it, an Efrit came out. Now, the Efrit offers the fisherman that now that he'd freed him, he would be able to choose how he would like to die right now. The fisherman, being in shock, plays a trick on the Efrit, who has an ego the size of his body, so very, very big. And the fisherman tells the Efrit that he doesn't believe that he would fit in this tiny jar. And the Efrit, of course, goes back into the jar and the fisherman closes the lid. And this is where we're going to continue. All right. Now, when it was the 6th night, her sister Dunyazad said to her, "Pray finish for us thy story." And she answered, "I will, if the king give me leave." "Say on," said the king. And she continued, "It has reached me, O auspicious king, when the fisherman said to the Efrit, 'If thou hadst spared me, I would have spared thee. But nothing would satisfy thee save my death. So now I will do thee die by jailing thee in this jar, and I will hurl thee into the sea.' Then the Efrit roared aloud and cried, 'Allah upon thee, O fisherman, don't! Spare me and pardon my past doings, and as I have been tyrannous, so be thou generous. For it is said among sayings that go current, O thou who doest good to him who has done thee evil, suffice for the ill-doer his ill deeds, and do not deal with me as did Umama to Attika.' Asked the fisherman, 'And what was their case?' And the Efrit answered, 'This is not the time for storytelling, and I in this prison, but set me free and I will tell thee the tale.' Said the fisherman, 'Leave this language. There is no help but that thou be thrown back into the sea, nor is there any way for thy getting out of it for ever and ever. Vainly I placed myself under thy protection, and I humbled myself to thee with weeping, while thou soughtest only to slay me, who had done thee no injury, deserving this at thy hands. Nay, so far from injuring thee by any evil act, I worked thee naught but weal, in releasing thee from that jail of thine. Now I knew thee to be an evildoer, when thou didst to me what thou didst. And know that when I have cast thee back into this sea, I will warn whomsoever may fish thee up of what has befallen me with thee. And I will advise him to toss thee back again. So shalt thou abide here under these waters till the end of time shall make an end of thee.' But the Efrit cried aloud, 'Set me free. This is a noble occasion for generosity, and I make covenant with thee, and vow never to do thee hurt and harm. Nay, I will help thee to what shall put thee out of want.' The fisherman accepted his promises on both conditions, not to trouble him as before, but on the contrary, to do him service. And after making firm the plight and swearing him a solemn oath by Allah Most Highest, he opened the jar. Thereupon the pillar of smoke rose up till all of it was fully out. Then it thickened and once more became an Efrit of hideous presence, who forthright administered a kick to the bottle and sent it flying into the sea. The fisherman, seeing how the jar was treated, and making sure of his own death, piddled in his clothes and said to himself, "This promiseth badly." But he fortified his heart and cried, "O Efrit, Allah has said, perform your covenant, for the performance of your covenant shall be inquired into hereafter. Thou hast made a vow to me, and hast sworn an oath not to play me false, lest Allah play thee false. For verily he is a jealous God, who respitteth the sinner, but lets him not escape. I say to thee, as said the sage Tuban to King Yunnan, spare me, so Allah may spare you." The Ifrit burst into laughter and stalked away, saying to the fisherman, "Follow me." And the man paced after him at a safe distance, for he was not assured of escape, till they had passed round the suburbs of the city. Thence they struck into the uncultivated grounds, and crossing them, descended into a broad wilderness. And lo, in the middle of it stood a mountain tarn. The Ifrit waded in to the middle and again cried, "Follow me." And then when this was done, he took his stand in the center and bade the man cast his net and catch his fish. The fisherman looked into the water and was much astonished to see therein vari-colored fishes, white and red, blue and yellow, however he cast his net. And hauling in it, saw that he had netted 4 fishes, one of each color. Thereat he rejoiced greatly and more when the Ifrit said to him, "Carry these to the Sultan and set them in his presence. Then he will give thee what shall make thee a wealthy man. And now accept my excuse, for by Allah at this time I would none other way of benefiting thee, inasmuch I have lain in this sea 1800 years, and have not seen the face of the world save within this hour. But I would not have thee fish here save once a day." The Ifrit then gave him Godspeed, saying, "Allah grant we meet again," and struck the earth with one foot, whereupon the ground clove asunder and swallowed him up. The fisherman, much marveling at what had happened to him with the Ifrit, took the fish and made for the city. And as soon as he has reached home, he filled an earthen bowl with water, and therein threw the fish, which began to struggle and wriggle about. Then he bore off the bowl upon his head, and repairing to the king's palace, even as the Ifrit had bidden him, laid the fish before the presence, and the king wondered with exceeding wonder at the sight, for never in his lifetime had he seen fishes like these, in quality or in conformation. So he said, "Give those fish to the stranger slave girl who now cooketh for us," meaning the bond maiden whom the king of Roum had sent to him only 3 days before, so that he had not yet made trial of her talents in the dressing of meat. Thereupon the vizier carried the fish to the cook and bade her fry them, saying, "O damsel, the king sendeth this say to thee, I have not treasured thee or tear of me, save for stress time of me, approve then to us this day thy delicate handiwork and thy savoury cooking, for this dish of fish is a present sent to the Sultan, and evidently a rarity. The vizier, after he had carefully charged her, returned to the king, who commanded him to give the fisherman 400 dinars. He gave them accordingly, and the man took them to his bosom and ran off home, stumbling and falling and rising again, and deeming the whole thing to be a dream. However, he bought for his family all they wanted, and lastly he went to his wife in huge joy and gladness. So far concerning him. But as regards the cook's maid, she took the fish and cleansed them and set them in the frying pan, basting them with oil till one side was dressed. Then she turned them over, and behold, the kitchen wall clave asunder, and therefrom came a young lady, fair of form, oval of face, perfect in grace, with eyelids which co-lines and chase. Her dress was a silken headkerchief, fringed and tasselled with blue. A large ring hung from either ear. A pair of bracelets adorned her wrists. Rings with bezels of priceless gems were on her fingers, and she hand in hand a long rod of rattan cane, which she thrust into the frying pan, saying, O fish, be ye constant to your covenant? When the cook maiden saw this apparition, she swooned away. The young lady repeated her words a second time, and a third time, and at last the fishes raised their heads from the pan, and saying in articulate speech, Yes, yes, began with one voice to recite, Come back, and so will I. Keep faith, and so will I. And if ye fain forsake, I'll requite till quits we cry. After this, the young lady upset the frying pan and went forth by the way she came in, and the kitchen wall closed upon her. When the cook maiden recovered from her fainting fit, she saw the 4 fishes charred black as charcoal, and crying out, his staff brake in his first bout. She again fell swooning to the ground. Whilst she was in this case, the vizier came for the fish, and looking upon her as insensible she lay, not knowing Sunday from Thursday, shoved her with his foot and said, Bring the fish for the Sultan. Thereupon, recovering from her fainting fit, she wept and informed him of her case and all that had befallen her. The vizier marveled greatly and exclaiming, This is none other than a right strange matter. He sent after the fisherman and said to him, Thou, O fisherman, must needs fetch us 4 fishes like those thou broughtest before. Thereupon the man repaired to the tarn and cast his net, and when he landed it, lo, 4 fishes were therein exactly like the first. These he at once carried to the vizier, who went in with them to the cook maiden and said, Up with thee, and fry these in my presence, that I may see this business. The damsel arose and cleansed the fish, and set them in the frying pan over the fire. However, they remained there but a little while, ere the wall clave asunder and the young lady appeared, clad as before, and holding in hand the wand which she again thrust into the frying pan, saying, O fish, be ye constant to your olden covenant? And behold, the fish lifted the heads and repeated, yes, yes, and recited this couplet, come back and so will I, keep faith and so will I, but if ye fain forsake, I'll requite till quits we cry. And Shahrazad perceived the dawn of day and ceased saying her permitted say. And this is where we're going to close the chapter for tonight. I think Joanna will pick up on Monday, if I didn't mistake him. I hope you had a wonderful evening. I hope you enjoyed the reading. I hope you had a wonderful day, going inwards instead of outwards. And I look forward to seeing you again in our next session. Monday with Joanna and Tuesday with my humble self. Tuesday. Have a good night, everyone.